What if, after your death, you were given a chance to return back to life? Well, that's the story we will be covering today. A boy hears an ominous voice telling him about the lottery. He just won. He opens his eyes and finds himself in a hospital mortuary. With no memories of how he got here, he tries to leave the place, but somehow this scares the staff. And he again returns to his bed. A woman named Rudy comes near his bed and starts crying uncontrollably. Later that night, the boy wakes up and finds himself in the hospital. He tries to escape but finds the nurse and doctor in the hallway, who talk to him in strange language. Since the elevator isn't working, he tries to climb down, but because of rain he accidentally slips and starts falling. However, some unknown power saves him as he stops falling and he stands on the sides of the building. Just then a window cleaner comes there and the boy asks him if this is real, as he is having a hard time believing all of this. The man slaps him and then tells him that his memories have been erased and he has been given a new body of a teenager named Min to live again. The man introduces himself as his guardian, who then forces Min to grip the edge of the window and come back inside. Inside the room, a nurse approaches Min and uses the needles so forcefully that he accidentally throws the water bottle, but surprisingly the water freezes mid-air. The nurse tells him that she is his guardian and can change into any shape. She refers to his physical presence as a temporary homestay. She also hands him an hourglass with a 100-day deadline, and during this time, he must find out the reason behind Min's suicide. If he cannot, he will die and never be reborn. She warns him not to let anyone know he is not Min. And then water spills on the floor. The following morning, the doctor visits Min for a checkup. He tells the doctor his full name, which he sees on the medicine sticker, and the doctor allows him to go home. When he gets home, he meets his brother Min, who is very cold towards him, and his mother Rudy. Rudy requests that he remain in Min's room so they can take care of him, and she also asks him to share Min's clothes until they can buy him new ones. Min overhears this and says that he will be staying at his friend's place tonight. Min asks his mother about the day he ended things, but she doesn't respond to him and rather leaves the room. Min then notices his father, who instead of greeting him, seems to be busy on a call with his MLM group, for which he has left his regular job. Min then looks around the house after everyone has gone to bed and discovers that none of the albums include any of his photographs. He begins a thorough search and finds out that his old room is locked. Min tries to look inside the room, but Min finds him, and he is sent back to Min's room. The next morning, Min notices Min leaving with 2 computers for his school. Min takes advantage of this opportunity and grabs several keys from the living room. He tries to open his locked room, but remains unsuccessful. He then returns to Min's room and attempts to reach his room by walking along the edges of the window. After some effort, he finally makes it to his room, where he finds no personal items other than some furniture pieces and a photo that would be displayed at his funeral. He gets shocked the most when he sees his death date on the picture, dropping it to the ground. This creates a sound which alerts his mother, and she comes inside the room. Min notices the place where his blood marks are visible on the floor. His mother starts crying and asks him never to do this again. The next day, he returns to school to determine the cause behind his suicide. As this was the task assigned by his guardian, he goes with his mother there, and she tells him to lie to everyone that he was absent because he had a cold. Moreover, she also hands him his wallet with her business card and a brooch, which he doesn't recognize. On entering the school, he discovers that he wasn't very popular, as he only had one close friend named Lee. He is also part of a club where he gets tasked to draw a painting for the next event. He soon finds out that the brooch he found belongs to an elite club of his school for the Olympians. He puts on the brooch and enters the class, but the teacher recognizes that he is not part of the class, so he gets kicked out. Later he finds a note from his friend Pai, who asks him to meet her in the library. Min meets her and falls for her beauty. He then uses his mom's card to buy some nice clothes and change his appearance, hoping to get P's attention. One day, he has a meeting with the school psychiatrist. His father shows up at the school and asks Min to promote his medicine. Min meets the psychiatrist, who asks him some very strange questions, and when Min gives him the medicine, he gulps numerous pills from the bottle. The time stops and Min discovers that this was actually his guardian, who is here to remind him that time is running out and he must look for the clues. He also tells Min that he will only get one chance to answer, and if he guesses right, the hourglass will stop. A few days later, there is a school celebration, and Min is looking for Pi to celebrate it, but he discovers her sobbing in the library. As she is unable to cope with the exam pressure, Min encourages her and inquires whether they are in a relationship. Pi says they are not, as Min never asked her out. Min then invites her to celebrate the festival with him, and they both spend some quality time together. She notices the change in his behavior and tells him that she likes this new Min more. The next morning, Min hears his mother weeping on the phone, as his father has sold their wedding ring to buy more products. Min assists her in preparing durian rinds as a way to cheer her up. He also eats them, and this surprises his mother, as the old Min was never very fond of this. They both spend some nice time reminiscing about Min's childhood memories. Pi passes the exam and then asks Min to fulfill his promise of running while having soup on his hair. She accompanies him and, afterwards, gives him a gift, as it's his birthday. It's a kaleidoscope that she made for him. Additionally, she admits her feelings for him, and they kiss. Later at the school, Min draws Pi on the bridge, and he then notices some old pics in his club, where he notices his old locker and immediately goes to check it. However, he gets surprised to find it empty. Later, Lee reminds him of the laptop he had placed in her locker with a message to send to his mother. However, when Lee went to give it at his home, his mother wasn't home, so she gave it to Min. Min goes home and starts searching for the laptop in Men's belongings. He finds his photos with the face scratched off. He also finds some documents of Men which suggest that he wishes to go to Germany for his studies. Min then goes through Men's computer, where he discovers Men's discussion with his girlfriend complaining about what Min had done, and how now he must support his family and he can't travel to Germany. Men hated Min and wished for him to die. Min realizes that the other day, the second laptop which Men took to his school must be his, so he goes to Men's school to look for it. However, when he finds the laptop, Men comes there and throws it outside the window. He also tells him that it would be better if he dies. Min rushes outside and finds the laptop frozen in air. His guardian comes in and teases him before allowing the laptop to hit the ground and shatter into several pieces. However, Min can still see the goodbye letter on it, from where he learns about his attempt of taking his own life. It was Min who had removed his face from the photos. He had mixed a chemical with a soda to make a dangerous mixture. The letter also reveals his hatred towards his father, as he uses his wife's money for his business. His brother was never really close to him. Min loved his mother but grew impatient with her because she was rarely at home, so Pi was the lone source of light in his existence. However, when one day Min visits Pi, he sees a horrible scene as a teacher makes inappropriate advances toward Pi. The next day, Min goes to the school and attacks the teacher whom he saw with Pi. He then confronts Pi, who feels very bad, as she only did it for a better future, but Min is very angry at her. Later, one day, Min's father meets his school principal, and they discuss why Min is not like other children. However, after this meeting, Min lashes out at his father and confronts him on his own behaviors, such as selling the wedding ring. Later, Min wishes to visit his mother unexpectedly, so he goes to her location and gets shocked to see that his mother is having an affair with a man. Rudy notices him and tries to stop him, but he doesn't listen to her. All of this makes Min very sad as he goes to the bridge and wonders whether he to ship and things the way real Min did. Just then the guardian comes there, and Min tells him that the real Min was right, as everything in his life is so bad, so he made the right decision of ending things. However, the guardian says that it is not the correct answer, and the hourglass keeps moving. The guardian leaves after reminding him that only 3 days are left. Min goes home, and in his anger he starts destroying things. Just then Lee visits him and inquires about the progress of his drawing. Min answers very harshly and tells her that he never really cared for her, and tells her about his attempt of taking his own life and that he never considered her a friend or liked her back. She becomes so devastated by his statements that she tears up and leaves the room. Later, Min and his dad pick Rudy from her work, and Min insists that they all go out for dinner together, despite Rudy not in the mood for it. He insults and even mentions about his visit to her workplace earlier to make her feel bad. At the restaurant, Min leaves his parents alone, pretending to be in the bathroom. From there, he sees his father giving the ring back to Rudy. But instead of being happy, she admits to having an affair, which leads to her husband departing without them. Now that Min and Rudy are on their way home, Rudy apologizes to Min for her affair and explains that she had broken up with her boyfriend. Min refuses to accept anything she says, and they get into an argument during which they meet with a terrible accident. After a few hours, Min wakes up and finds out that his mother is still unconscious. At the hospital, Min visits Min and tells him that he is wrong to think that nobody loves and cares for him. Min then goes home, and there he finds the food which Rudy had left for him, and also discovers his kaleidoscope. He realizes that he acted selfishly and harshly. He then completes his drawing for the competition. The following morning, the Olympic team announces that they will be participating in a crucial tournament, and for this, their members come up with speeches. Pi steps forward but leaves after seeing Min in the crowd, because she feels guilty. Following her, Min discovers her fiddling with a glass piece. He fears she may do the unthinkable, so he comes and hugs her, and also apologizes to her for his bad behavior. He advises her not to feel guilty because it's her teacher's fault. Afterward, he apologizes to Lee and confesses that she is the only person who treats him so well. Lee accepts the apology and tells him that he couldn't send his drawing, so she sends one of his old drawings, which shocks him as this was the same drawing he drew earlier of Pi on the bridge. Suddenly, all of the memories from Min's life start to come into his mind, and the good times with his family make him lose his balance and eventually fall. He awakes in his room, watching his guardian taking the shape of his reflection, and making him realize that he is not a random soul, but the original Min himself, died because he could not see goodness in things around him. Then, he compliments him for passing the test and acknowledges that it was his mistake, regardless of the family or Pi. Additionally, he informs Min that the test's only goal is to help Min see the positive side of things, and the guardian assures him that he will live. In the school, his eyes eventually open. Lee stops to see how he's doing. He hugs her in appreciation for her concern. After learning that Rudy is getting divorced, and that he can choose to live with her mother or father, he goes to see Rudy and offers an apology for his actions. Pi wins the gold medal and tells Min about it. He fulfills his part of the deal and runs on the bridge wearing just underwear, with soap on his hair.